Hao, it is great to have you on the program. We used to talk all the time when I was based in Asia. You covered these markets so closely. You're on the ground. Why should investors sort of believe Beijing this time, or should they even? Do we buy this bounce?
Yeah, good morning, Deirdre. Good to be here. Today's meeting chaired by Liu He is very significant. I think it's the first time in a long time that the top government official articulate its strategy for the market and especially for the tech sector going forward. And I think specifically, he said that, we should be focusing on pushing out market-friendly policies from here on, right? So that is the reason why we're seeing all this sizable bounce. Even though now there's still much uncertainties, and also right now this is a very high-level talk. In the coming weeks, there will be detailed policies rolling out, and remains to be seen. But for now, I think the bounce is so sizable that it's worth participating.
Yeah, how at the same time, sort of the issues have piled up for investors in Chinese stocks. There was the issue of regulation, of course, but now there's questions about another COVID lockdown and restrictions. What kind of support do you expect to see from Beijing, and will it be enough?
Yeah, I think the COVID situation is still unraveling, right? So, because it's the Omicron variant, it is very difficult to see how they can, stick with the zero tolerance policy. At the same time, maintain economic growth without much policy help. So already, we've seen finance ministry said that, the property tax trial is not going to be extended beyond the number of cities they identified earlier. Right? So basically, that alleviates the pain on the property sector as well. So I think that is immediately follow up, from the Liu He's meeting. So I would expect that in the coming weeks, there will be more and more similar policies announcement as well.
To what extent do geopolitics and Russia play into what we see China saying right now, and maybe the idea that they don't want to be isolated in the global economy, while at the same time they're trying to avoid picking sides and getting caught up in U.S. and Western sanctions?
Yeah, it is very important. In a way, how the U.S.-listed Chinese companies, running into the roadblock with the SEC is one example, right? So because it's a very important financing venue for Chinese tech companies, for them to finance their growth. So if you cut that off, and all these companies come back to Hong Kong, now even though they can remain listed, but the market size of Hong Kong is not entirely comparable to that of the U.S. So it is very important, and I think the U.S. is somehow in a way using it as a bargaining chip to negotiate with China. So it remains to be seen. It's good to see some peaceful development today between Ukraine and Russia, but I think a lot more needs to be done to bring back peace.
Okay, but given that, then, if this is partly reflecting what's happening geopolitically, how stable is it? Because the geopolitical situation, particularly between Russia and Ukraine, is so volatile, might we hear China, moderating and changing tone as it suits them because of the geopolitical climate, and stocks reacting as a result?
Yeah, I think it's a very complicated situation to negotiate. I think today in Liu He's meeting, he also mentioned that the Chinese CSRC is working with the US SEC to sort out a plan for the US-listed Chinese companies, and they're making good progress. And then at the same time, I think Liu He is also saying that the Chinese authority is working with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, to prepare for some of the companies to come back to Hong Kong as well. So I think there are preparation on both sides, and let's hope that the negotiation with the US SEC goes well.
Hao, thanks for staying up late with us. Hao Hong, talk to you again soon.